The hall was filled with laughter, music, and the sweet aroma of jollof rice and fried meat. Everyone had come to celebrate the wedding of Adana and Chibuzo. It was a wedding like no other, one that people would talk about for years. Adana looked stunning in her white gown, her smile bright, but deep inside, she was shaking. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. She was marrying the man she had loved since university, a man who treated her like a queen. Chibuzo, tall and handsome, stood at the altar, his eyes filled with love. He had waited for this day for so long. He believed he was marrying a woman who would be his forever. As the priest said, "Do you, Adana, take Chibuzo to be your lawfully wedded husband?" Adana's throat tightened. For a second she wanted to run, but she forced a smile and whispered, "I do." Chibuzo held her hand, smiling widely as he said, "I do." Everyone clapped. Drums rolled. The choir sang. People sprayed naira notes as the couple kissed. It was a perfect wedding, but if only they knew what was coming. If only they knew what Adana was about to do that night. 3 months before the wedding, Adana's life had taken a dark turn. Her only brother, Ibuka, had always been her joy. He was 12 years old, full of life, always running around the house, playing football with the neighborhood kids. But one morning, everything changed. She got a call from his school. "Your brother collapsed during assembly. We rushed him to the hospital." Adana ran faster than she had ever run in her life. She found Ibuka lying on a hospital bed, too weak to speak. "The boy has kidney failure," the doctor said, shaking his head. "He needs an urgent transplant. The surgery will cost 7 million. Her mother burst into tears. Where would they get that kind of money? Adana and Chibuzo had been saving for their wedding, but it wasn't enough. They asked friends, begged family members, but nobody could raise that much in such a short time. The doctor gave them just 2 months. If Ibuka didn't get the surgery by then, he wouldn't make it. Adana was losing hope when she got a call from Ikenna, her ex-boyfriend. Ikenna was her first love, the man she had dated before she met Chibuzo. Now he was a wealthy businessman driving flashy cars and living in mansions. When Adana told him about Ibuka's situation, he sighed. "I can help you, Ada. But I have one condition." Her heart pounded. "What condition?" Ikenna's voice was calm but firm. "After your wedding, you will spend 1 night with me." Adana gasped. "What kind of nonsense is that, Ikenna?" He chuckled. "It's up to you. If you love your brother, you will do it. If not, forget my number." That night, Adana couldn't sleep. Her mind was torn apart. She wanted to say no. She wanted to tell Ikenna that she wasn't that kind of woman. But when she saw Ibuka's small, weak body on the hospital bed, she knew she had no choice. The next morning, she called Ikenna. "I will do it," she said, her voice barely a whisper. The wedding reception was grand. The DJ played the latest Afrobeat songs, danced, ate, and laughed. But Adana was restless. She kept checking her phone, waiting for a message from the hospital. At exactly 11 p.m., her phone beeped. Her heart raced as she opened the message. "Surgery successful. Ibuka is stable." Tears of relief rolled down her cheeks. She had saved her brother, but now it was time to pay the price. Chibuzo held her waist as they walked toward their honeymoon suite. "Finally, my love," he whispered. "I've waited for this night all my life." Adana forced a smile. "Give me a few minutes, I need to freshen up." He kissed her forehead. "Don't keep me waiting." She nodded and stepped into the bathroom, but instead of freshening up, she took out her phone and texted Ikenna, "I'm coming." She quietly left the hotel and got into Ikenna's black SUV waiting outside. "You're a woman of your word," Ikenna said, smiling. Adana didn't reply. She stared at the floor, heartbroken. But just as Ikenna was about to drive off, the back door flung open. Standing there, eyes filled with shock and pain, was Chibuzo. "Adana, why?" His voice was barely above a whisper. Adana's heart stopped. She couldn't speak. Tears filled her eyes, but no words came out. Chibuzo turned to Ikenna, his jaw tightened, his fists clenched. "So, this is why you wanted to meet her?" Ikenna smirked. "It's none of your business." Before anyone could say another word, Chibuzo threw a punch. Ikenna stumbled back, blood dripping from his nose. "You're a snake, Ikenna," Chibuzo shouted. "And you, Adana. I gave you my heart." Adana dropped to her knees. "Chibuzo, please." "I didn't want to do this." "Then why did you?" His voice broke. She wanted to tell him the truth. She wanted to scream, "I did it for Ibuka." But what would it change? Would he understand? Chibuzo shook his head, tears rolling down his face. I loved you, Adana, but you have destroyed everything. He threw his wedding ring on the ground and walked away. Adana sat there, sobbing. Her wedding was over. Her marriage was over. If only he knew the truth. Days passed, then weeks. Chibuzo blocked her everywhere. He didn't want to see her. People gossiped. How can a woman cheat on her wedding night? Her mother scolded her. Adana, what have you done? But only one person smiled. Ibuka. He was alive, healthy. Thank you, sister, he said one morning, holding her hand. Adana smiled through her pain. Anything for you, Ibuka. But deep down she was broken. She had saved her brother, but lost the love of her life. If only Chibuzo knew the truth. If only he understood. But some truths are too painful to tell. I hope you enjoyed this emotional and powerful story. If you were touched by Adana's difficult decision, please click the subscribe button and like this video to support our channel. What do you think about Adana's choice? Was she right or wrong? What would you have done in her situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another true life story filled with drama, suspense, and deep lessons. Subscribe now and stay tuned for our next gripping story.